Ceddanne Rafaela is impressing everybody right now, but will it be enough to make the big league club? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and the sort of general assumption coming into the 2024 season, both because of offseason acquisitions and comments made by the front office, that Ceddanne Rafaela was probably going to start the year in AAA. However, once we got into spring training a bit, Alex Cora basically said that Ceddanne Rafaela has the opportunity to fight for an opening day roster spot, and right now, that's exactly what he's doing to a really impressive level. So what we are going to do in today's video is we're going to break this situation down. We're going to talk about what Ceddanne Rafaela is doing so far this spring that's so impressive, what it's going to take for him to make the big league club, and because of this, what problems may arise, what might stand in the way of him doing that. But before we get into that, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're in the 400 subscriber away mark from that 10,000 mark. So if you want to help us get there, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit that like button as well. It just helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Now, I know some people are sitting there thinking, Corbin, this is a bit of an overreaction for such a small sample size because it's so early in the spring, and you're right, a lot of things can happen, and this may be a bit of an overreaction, but it is flat out right now impossible to ignore the start that Ceddanne Rafaela has gotten off to, because so far this spring, in 20 plate appearances, Ceddanne Rafaela has hit .313 with a .450 on base percentage and a .563 slug, good for a .172 WRC plus, an impressive 72% above league average production so far, with 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. But what I really want to point out here, and the reason why he's been impressing just about everyone this spring, has been his plate discipline, because last year at the big league level, he was striking out about 31.5% of the time, while only walking about 4.5% of the time. Basically, he was striking out 6 times to every walk he was taking. That was a big reason why most people assumed he'd be starting the year in AAA. Utilize that time in the start of this season to continue to improve his plate discipline and swing decisions, and once he has that really down and they feel comfortable with his approach at the plate, then you call him up. But so far this spring, he's proving he could do exactly that really quickly. Again, it's a small sample size here, but in those 20 plate appearances, he has 5 strikeouts to 4 walks. That's essentially a 1-to-1 ratio for strikeouts to walks. For those of you who care exactly what the ratio is, it's 1 strikeout to 0.8 walks. A little bit over a 1-to-1 ratio, but pretty dang close. What this is a massive step forward from what we were seeing last year. Now, again, I can't stress this enough. I know it's a small sample size and we are early in the spring, but I don't think anyone expected his plate discipline, his swing decisions to take such a drastic improvement and see that drastic improvement so quickly on during the 2024 season. The big question here, though, because it is such a small sample size, is can he keep it up? So far this spring, you aren't exactly seeing a ton of A-plus pitching. You're either getting 2 or 3 at-bats against an A-plus pitcher, and then you're being taken out for the rest of the game, or you're staying in the game, and that pitcher's only going 2 or 3 innings, and all of a sudden you're facing 100 different pitchers, a lot of them either non-roster invitees or guys who are probably not cracking an opening day roster right now, right? That's usually what you're looking at, but if he can keep this up, the Red Sox may just have no choice but to put him on the big league roster, because you know what his defense could provide. It could be a major plus for this big league team. He's one of the best defensive prospects in the entire sport, if not the best defensive prospect in the entire sport. And after losing Alex Verdugo this season, getting that kind of defense in the Sox outfield again would be really incredible. A defensive outfield of O'Neill, Rafaela, and Duran would just be stupid athletic. It'd be one of the most athletic outfields in the entire sport. Tyler O'Neill's won 2 Gold Gloves. He's got a ton of power and speed. Jarren Duran looked a whole lot better last year defensively, even though it was just league average, and you also have his speed and contact ability. Then you add in Ceddanne Rafaela, who's got speed, who is a platinum glove contender, and who could produce at the plate. It would be absolutely dynamic. The problem is his bat just didn't play at the major league level last year, finishing with a 241 average, a 281 on base percentage, and a 386 slug, which was good for a 74 WRC plus, or once again, about 20% below league average production. If he keeps it going this spring, especially later in the spring, when we're going to see more significant pitchers get more significant outings, he's forcing the Red Sox hand a little bit. A defensive wizard that can be a contact right-handed bat in your lineup would make this lineup absolutely dynamic and would make Ceddanne Rafaela almost too dynamic to ignore. However, there are a couple of problems with this that could be standing in the way of Ceddanne Rafaela making the big league club. The first issue right now for Ceddanne Rafaela in terms of cracking the big league roster, especially come opening day, is that this outfield is just flat out crowded right now. You're already taking Masataka Yoshida and putting him in sort of a backseat role when it comes to playing positionally in the outfield, moving him more to a DH type. But even with that move, you still have Tyler O'Neill, Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, and Rob Refsnyder, who are all projected to be on your opening day roster. That's 5 outfielders at the major league level. Ceddanne Rafaela coming in, that makes it 6. That's way too many outfielders to have on a major league club. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, but Corbin, Ceddanne can play shortstop. He can play some middle infield. He could be utilized all over the place. And you would be correct, but that's not entirely how the Red Sox are looking at this, at least from what we've heard so far this spring, because the emphasis has been on the fact that he can impact the game in the outfield the most. This is where he's going to make the biggest positive impact. Alex Cora has said it. Kyle Hudson has said it. I believe Craig Breslow has said it as well. It doesn't feel as though they are inclined to try and use him as more of a utility player. It feels as though they want him to play everyday center field, which makes things really complicated for the Red Sox because then someone has to go. Again, you can't have 6 outfielders out there, so someone needs to not be on this team in order to get Ceddanne Rafaela at the big league level, because the other part of this is you still want him to develop, right? He's obviously not an entirely polished product right now, and if he were to come up and there were to be 6 outfielders in the outfield, you're not getting him everyday playing time, and what does that do to his development? Would it be more beneficial for them to start him in AAA where he's getting everyday at-bats, or start him at the major league level with 6 outfielders where he's getting 1 or 2 games a week? Which one's going to help most with his development? I would say it's the everyday at-bats, but that's a Red Sox decision as well. So if they do want to bring him up, it probably means someone else has to go, and I don't think it's going to be Duran. I definitely don't think it's going to be Tyler O'Neill, and I really don't think it's going to be Masataka Yoshida, which leaves just Wilyer Abreu and Rob Refsnyder. Now, Wilyer is actually right now making this decision a bit easier because right now he's really struggling this spring. Again, it's a small sample size, but he is just an 0.67 average with a 263 on base percentage in 19 plate appearances. This could turn around really quickly, but if he continues this rocky spring training, the Red Sox may feel as though, okay, we can get away with starting Wilyer Abreu in the AAA level to make sure that he's good to go before he comes back up, and starting Ceddanne on the Major League club. The other option here is that you DFA Rob Refsnyder, who does have a very DFA-able contract. It's one that you're not going to miss too much, being under $2 million, but I hesitate to say absolutely they should do that. One, because Rob Refsnyder can back up first base a bit, but two, also because Rob Refsnyder is really good at what he does. I know some people don't love Rob, but if they use him against lefty pitching, which they're going to need help against lefty pitching this year because of how lefty dominant their lineup is, he could be really, really effective, and I think he could play an integral role in the 2024 Red Sox. So it's a really complicated question, but it gets even more complicated before you even answer that one, because if the Red Sox start Ceddanne Rafaela at the AAA level this season and keep him down there until after May 15th, they get an entire extra year of control over him. Right now, technically, if he were to start the year at the major league level, he wouldn't be a free agent until 2030. If they wait until May 16th or May 17th or whatever to bring him up, then they get him until 2031, which normally, in my opinion, wouldn't really matter for the Boston Red Sox, right? Because at the end of the day, you're able to pay him at that time point. But with the way the Red Sox have been operating lately, with the focus being on a controllable youth core, with the focus being on a low budget winner, or winner's a bit debatable depending on who you ask, but a low priced winner, this could be a big factor for the Red Sox. And ultimately, it could end up meaning, despite how good Ceddanne Rafaela really is this spring, even if he continues to light the world on fire, really sort of puts the pedal to the metal and tells the Red Sox, hey, you're going to have absolutely no choice but to put me on this roster. Ridiculous as it sounds, they may just say, look, man, we're going to keep you down there until past May 15th. Then we're going to find you a spot because we want that extra year of control. So there's a ton of different layers to this when you're looking at some of the issues as to why Ceddanne might not start the year at the major league level. But I also think there's only so much the Red Sox can ignore here, right? And I think that's totally up to Ceddanne Rafaela to prove. I think there gets to a point where even if you want to manipulate his control time, he's just too dynamic of a player to keep off this opening day roster. And I do think there is a realistic world in which Ceddanne Rafaela is able to do that. He's at least showing the signs early. If he can continue to do what he's doing at the plate during this spring training, especially as we get deeper into spring training, we start to see those everyday starters get a legitimate start here and there, right? It's just flat out too much to ignore, in my opinion. And it needs to be someone who's on this opening day roster, especially with Vaughn Grissom going down. You need that dynamic from the right-hand side of the plate because it balances out this lineup. Grissom going down could be a really big opportunity for Ceddanne Rafaela to really cement himself as a necessity to the Red Sox lineup. And plus, as a fan, right, I don't care about manipulation. I don't care that you get an extra year of control, because even if he does come up this season in a full-time role on opening day, you still have him under control till 2030. That's 6 years from now. This is a problem that you should be able to deal with later successfully, right? Obviously, whether or not you have faith for the Red Sox to be able to deal with that is a different question, but as a fan, we don't care about manipulation. We care about having the best team on the field at all points. And I think if Ceddanne Rafaela continues to do that, that's exactly what he could be for this lineup. He could be their best overall team. And I think that's really, really important, especially this year when you've got so many what ifs. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. 1, what do you think of Ceddanne Rafaela's hot start to spring training? Is it impressing you? Is this something you expected? 2, what would you do if you're the Red Sox? If Ceddanne Rafaela continues to do this, would you put him on the major league club, or would you keep him down there, manipulate his time because you don't want to DFA anyone at the big league level? You don't want to option anyone at the big league level. What are you doing with Ceddanne Rafaela? And ultimately, do you think he makes the opening day team? Let me know all your thoughts on the impressive spring so far from Ceddanne in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said in the intro, we're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We are right under 300 subs away. It would mean the world to me if you helped us get there and hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button as well. It just helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.